Game 39, Nasaji Mazandaran vs Mumbai City on the 28th of November 2023. Titled, Can It Correlate? As you may or may not be aware, I've taken this one as the original commentator has called in sick. I've left the coffee house and wandered back to my studio base for a game of little or no consequence, but one which for me I will study. Mainly for the standard of football on show and how I think it fares in the English footballing pyramid, because of my beloved Oxford United having bought the Mumbai City manager Des Buckingham in to replace Liam Manning. Des is a great bloke and has been in the City Group system around the globe, but not really in English football other than a stint in the under-23s as an assistant coach at Stoke City for a short period of time. So emotionally this game was of particular interest to this Oxford fan. The venue was the Azadi Stadium in Tehran with a capacity of around 78,000. Now I know this is almost a dead rubber with no real consequence on the final outcome of the group, but it was a case of more security than fans at this game. Incidentally, the official gate was 375. Swathes of empty seats, no crowd emotion, no knife-edged thriller on show. Mumbai, Des' former side, come into this one having played 4 out of their 6 group games, having lost all 4 with a goal difference of -14. Irrespective of whether Des is still the manager, that record, albeit in the Asian Confederation Champions League, is not the easiest one to make a good case for. Nasaji won the game at Mumbai by 2-0, and Mumbai concede to date 3 goals a game. And when Des left Mumbai, they were in 5th place in the Indian Super League. Now maybe I'm looking a little too hard at things, but back in game 24 of this season's journey for myself, I did commentate on Mumbai City's defeat at the hands of Al Hilal when a Mitrovic hat-trick saw Al Hilal cruise to a 6-0 win. But this match represents the bottom 2 teams in the group, a more reflective standard to correlate things on? Maybe? Being part of the City Group coaching doesn't always correlate to being a good coach, a bit like the World Cup winning heroes of '66, not all being good managers when they had the chance, with the exceptions maybe of Jackie Charlton and Alan Ball having some success as managers. Patrick Vieira's recent stint with Crystal Palace wasn't a runaway success, unlike his hugely successful playing days, and he too is part of the City Group family. I have known Des for some 22 years, when he was 17 and starting to coach my 7-year-old son. He's honest, he is straightforward and he knows how to coach, but does he have what it takes? Well, knowing my Oxford United, when it's good it's brilliant, and when it's not you can hear everything including the crowd's asthma. I digress, this game should give me a handle on things. It is a routine victory for Nasaji Mazandaran by the same score as the away leg by 2-0. Mumbai don't register a shot on target in 90 minutes, and the 375 punters obviously didn't get the memo. The other 77,625 got. Standard-wise, well, it's a tough call. It was competitive as both teams were as good as each other, but where I could pop that game in the Football League pyramid is tough. The longer I look post-match at the stats for Des with Wellington Phoenix and the under-20s and 23s and Mumbai, the more I don't think this is the right move for him. Maybe if the club, Oxford, was 3rd from bottom and not 3rd from top, it might have been better for him. Previous incumbent might have overachieved, but I really think this is a hard task for the man from Oxfordshire. Mumbai aren't a brilliant side, and I really do question the quality of the divisions he has managed in. After the match I bid farewell to Brenners, who just casually reminds of Forget-Me-Not of the time I'm required in for tomorrow's game. It's dark as I wander down the knee screamer straight to Goldhawk Road tube station, but it is mild and dry. The street takes on a different look in the dark with all the shop frontages illuminated or boarded up. I take a look at some frontages who have dressed their windows for Christmas, and for a moment I look at one particular tree. It's just a tree decorated, and I wonder why the tree, which will not change in appearance over the next 5 to 6 weeks, can change my emotions prior to Christmas from one of childish excitement for the festive period to looking like we all feel tired after Christmas. It's the same tree, in the same position, with the same decorations, both in late November and early January. So I stare at the tree trying to convince myself it's January in my head and all over, i.e. the festive period, to see if it does change in any way. And it doesn't. Maybe those rose-coloured glasses on the childhood Christmases of past still haunt me in longing for those days all over again. I sit on the tube and trains home, mulling over the nostalgic viewpoint I have. I've spoken of London in the swinging sixes being portrayed in my mind before. I think about the good times in the past and often forget what it actually was like at the time. Summers that were endlessly sunny and not the blackouts of the 70s or the bread strikes or the hand-me-down clothes. I was the youngest of 3 lads, so by the time I got my oldest brother's clothes to wear, I was several years out of fashion. Laugh out loud. In my day, it was a jumble sale. Nowadays, it's recycling clothes from charity shops. Something I still cannot do, because if your mum went to a jumble sale in my day, your family got labelled. Home and fed, Zhejiang versus Buriram tomorrow. Yep, you heard me right. Game 40, Zhejiang versus Buriram on the 29th of November 2023. Titled, News Papa anyone? Sat on the train. This time I'm looking on my phone when on Twittery X a story pops up I'd like to know more on. So I hit the link and it takes me to the newspaper article. I start reading the article and then it happens. You know, the dreaded pop-up screen saying you can read the rest of the article if you make a donation. No, I won't, I say to myself. I will find some other way of reading this article. I'm sure this story, as groundbreaking as it may be, or interesting, is not going to be exclusive just to this internet paper. So off I go out of stubbornness, trying to extract the story off the internet without having to pay. Now, I am aware there is a business to pay for, overheads to deal with and journos' wages, but holy mother of pearl pants, there are, once you have donated, adverts all over the perimeter of the story, if not pop-ups that are paying a decent wage. Now, I might have alluded to this in my Journeyman series. I have created a newspaper. One day, while staring at my computer screen doing some mind-numbingly boring set of plans, a form creator gizmo I've used popped up an email into my inbox. So I remembered why I'd used it and had a look at the creator page. When I got there, it showed me various form templates that I could use or adapt, but moreover, it had a button which said you can create an app. My mind quickly said to me, what, an app like the ones on your phone? I couldn't answer this, so I investigated further. Yes, an app. And like any adult, didn't read the how-to guide and played on feeling my way through the process. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, because of the pop-up donation shiz that often curtails reading articles. This has happened to me before, and I don't like it, and today on the train I fell into that trap again and wasted time, so it reminded me to fill you in, so to speak. The newspaper idea was a little like the free newspapers we had back in the 80s and 90s. The newspaper idea was a little like the free newspapers we had back in the 80s and 90s. Delivered through our doors for free with some journalism within it, which was mainly paid through the advertising within. 1 article, 6 pages of adverts, etc. During my stint in recent years at the Beeb, they were using phrases in the power towers of digital content being the way forward over good old-fashioned broadcasting. So I thought back to my youth when the newspapers in our neck of the woods had a different sports infill page for every day of the week. As we were players of sports, the paper would be grasped on whatever day your sport was spotlighted, just in case you got your name in the paper. It was a big deal back then. If you got a mention on the radio, you were one step away from celebrity status, in your own mind anyway. I have always had a soft spot for local sports based on my own playing days and the fun, camaraderie and friends I made and the time people spent in keeping local sport alive. Now, as the local newspapers decline due to the internet, as the local radio dwindles in the face of digital content, local sport still needs an outlet. So I set about Newspapper. It was great fun and very easy to do, and yes, looked a world beater from the moment I put it together. So why am I pouncing around commentating on games like Zhejiang versus Buriram and not got my own media world paying oodles of cash? Because I haven't got the time to be a one-man sports desk and a newspaper. I do a lot of interviewing and filming, voicing highlights, generating exclusive content whilst linking up all the clubs, so people have only one place to go and find out about the local sports scene. The figures are really encouraging, and all with what's known so far as a soft launch. Sponsorship of sports pages, advertisement spots, specialist areas up for grabs, but one man, 3 jobs and an aged body needs assistant. But for any user, it's easy. Open the app, save to your home screen, and interviews, words, pictures are all there in one place, with no bloody pop-ups asking for donations. 4 hours to set up and build the concept, and that set of plans is still waiting for me to sort out. Looking out of the classroom window again, self, I hear in my brain, back in the room. Oh, and by the way, I have trademarked the words newspaper. There is more to this story, but I am now in Paddington. Up the ramp at Paddington, grab a latte through the gates and down the stairs to Hammersmith and City. Sit on the tube and look at the people and wonder if they have happy or serious resting faces, and drink the said latte. Happy or serious resting faces? Well, I like to think I can draw a little bit, and faces are great to look at. Basically, when I was a kid, my mum once said to me about a photograph of her that she personally loved the ones where she wasn't stood in front of the camera looking down the lens, but the ones where she was looking maybe at something else, where she was natural and not forced. So I look at people's resting faces, the ones they make when they are behind their own eyes and thinking of something else. Then you can see the natural resting face. Is the mouth turned down in the corners or up in a natural state? Are the eyes open or round, or whilst resting slightly tightened? Do they look symmetrical and handsome or even beautiful? Are they naturally kind-hearted faces when in a resting state? I look and gaze. I think you could see a lot in a resting face. All they could see is an old bloke in a pork-pie hat staring at them, laugh out loud. Often at a Goldholt Road tube station, and the knees are groaning a bit like a teething baby. I walked the 15 minutes feeling every step of the way, but I did it. I grab a sandwich and head into the studio. Brennan steers me into the booth of plenty, and I prepare myself for the game at hand. Zhejiang from China against the side from Thailand, Buriram. Unlike TalkSport, where commentators will meet and chat before all commentating on 3 o'clock kickoffs, here the stagger kickoffs mean you rarely see a fellow commentator. Well, it kicked off. Didn't sense it pre-match, but during the game it seemed like there was an undercurrent of niggle. Buriram took the lead before being pegged back, and in the second half, Zhejiang hit 2 more to lead 3-1, before Buriram got a late goal to make the last few moments tense. A naughty little challenge in the 95th minute saw the game kick off at the end as the benches and players exchanged, well, not pleasantries, but kicks and punches. Lively encounter and a sterling 7 out of 10 for me. It is a warm late autumn day as I head back down the knee screamer straight to Goldholt Road. The last of the sun just starting to dip down on the horizon. It'll be dark when I arrive home. Tubes are behaving, and I arrive at Paddington thinking more about proper work than anything else. My phone pinged, and a local Rotary club would like me to help them out promoting an upcoming Friday night clash. I reply with a yes and grab a coffee, make my way onto the platform and board the train to Longhambra. Should be time to switch off, but no, I hit the work emails and the frustration of not being able to answer the queries because 1, I don't have the info at hand, and 2, because of the intermittent signal. I stress, although there's nothing I can do. Strange how we all do that. On my arrival, with frustration leading to agitation at Longhambra, I'm a snappy little shit. Just what my wife wanted. I disappear into the room of gloom at home, check things, write emails, and wonder at the banality of people's laziness. Just check like I did. Maybe my mild-mannered outward persona one day will break to show what an angry old git I really am. I've often thought I spend more time being what people want instead of being me. Seriously though, I think the world's a better place with me being the person I portray instead of the one I am inside. Game 41. Crystal Palace vs Bournemouth on the 6th of December 2023. Titled, A Big Loss. We're into December and I'm off to London on the train from Parkway to Marylebone. I'm trying to go a little earlier to try and head off the packed Christmas shopper mid-morning train run. You won't know this, but this will be my 41st Christmas with my wife. Add in 41 birthdays, it is very hard finding something that she will really savour and enjoy over the normal thing, which is where we just go out and buy it if we need it. I sit on the train and open my sort of laptop thing. It's an iPad with a keyboard type thing. I start searching ladies' gift ideas for inspiration. 5 minutes later, bought her most of the stuff over the years, and I'm fucked if she's having any more scented candles. We have so many of them, if it was the mid-1970s we wouldn't have to worry about power cuts. So I drift off into a world of internet surfing, and I don't mean porn, you filthy animals. The general malaise of not knowing what you're searching for leads me to put my gizmo away and sit and ponder whilst gazing out of the window. After the demise of Jack FM recently, I remembered the words of the program controller who said to me, I think you should do a podcast. So please remember this is prior to me starting the Journeyman. So again, I'm down to the sustainability of content for a podcast. Now I don't know why, but I started thinking about trophies and which one looks the nicest. Again, a little bit of a personal viewpoint, but really wondered if there was one I would be a little cheesed off with picking up because of its appearance. Now, as a for instance, winning a trophy means you are a winner, and this shouldn't matter, I know. But I know this isn't the greatest comparable, but the good old League Cup trophy, the one with 3 handles, to me looks better than the PDC Darts World Trophy, which looks as though it's come from your local award supplier. Get my drift? The Football League Championship trophy looks to me better than the Premier League trophy. There's an intricacy of the trophy that present-day trophies lack. So I got to looking out of the window at maybe doing a podcast along the lines of a Trophy Cup competition, where people would draw trophies or images out of a hat to see which one you'd rather lift. Remember, you are a winner anyway. When my side, Oxford United, had their halcyon days, we won the 3rd Division, then next year the 2nd Division title, and then the Milk Cup. 3 great titles with 3 pretty nondescript trophies. The Barclays trophies for the 3rd and 2nd Division titles were solid and plain, and the Milk Cup, well, it wasn't a League Cup, although it actually was a sort of reincarnation of it. Some of my particular favourite trophies are the BAFTA Award over the National Television Award. Sports Personality of the Year Award is decent and unique. Oscar is decent and elegant, while some Formula 1 winners' trophies nowadays look as though they've come off a fairground stall. Not sure if there's any legs to that idea then, but I wondered if I took a straw poll with the other commentators to see if there was any nibbles when I got to the studio. At Marylebone, I take a short walk for some fresh air with a walk to Baker Street. Bollocks! The downward escalator is out of order. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to walk with bad knees down a static escalator? At the start you have uneven rise and falls, and at the end, and in between, the actual rises are bigger than your normal staircase. Just to let you know that staircases are designed generally for memory recall. That is why when you have one uneven step, you generally trip or fall. I managed to avoid trips and stumbles, but do sound like an elephant thumping down the escalator. At London Bridge, I take time looking directly from the base up at the Shard. It doesn't look that big when you're at the bottom looking up. Now there's a phrase I've used before. Boom! Into the studios and there's a sense of foreboding. It's difficult to say, but there didn't seem to be the usual feel to the place. Then as I scroll through Twitter X to announce to the world about my game of the day, I see the tragic news that my colleague, who has been missing from my work, has passed away. Stunned. He was only in his mid-40s and had a young family. I fall into that shocked world of needing to know more mindset. Tom, the exec director, pulls me to one side and lets me know all he knew. Oh, shittery shit. Another head down on my Guess Who board. Another one gone before the natural scheme of things. An absolute gent. I feel sick at the news. I think I need to put a 10 out of 10 performance in today. He used to love my curveball team news. He used to love my descriptive, self-depreciating commentaries. Well, I'm going to miss him, as I have done in prior weeks to hearing this news. Sometimes this old life of ours is really tough to get through. At this point, as I write these words, I am welling up. I will take a break and return to finish this episode. The world has lost a terrific man. I have Palace versus Bournemouth today. Palace have lost their last 2 home games and Bournemouth under Iraola are starting to get it together. The game pretty much now pales into insignificance, but Bournemouth win with goals from Senesi and a late one from Moore. I wrapped the game up with a "That one's for you, Russ," and I meant it. He didn't leave my thoughts for the whole journey home and beyond, in fairness. Time spent gazing out of train windows can be very soul-searching. No trivial best trophy thoughts now. No thoughts of approaching festive period. More trying to look into what scant information I've been told and trying to evaluate things. There is a part of me that does accept things, and occasionally I can pop things away in boxes and I can understand the process. Sometimes black and white can be a blessing. Sometimes no emotions can make things easier to deal with. But it is still very hard to compute. I am home now without noticing the journey. Then I knocked the scab off the healing wound by telling my wife about the news. R.I.P. Russ. I thank you for being part of my life. Albeit for only 6 years of it, I really do wish it was more.